As for the most anticipated game of the day, two of the very best at their quarterback position, Mahomes and Allen, as the Bills and the Chiefs from Orchard Park. It's a 10-7 Chiefs lead. Allen, play action, and this improv, two of the very best in the game at this off-schedule improvisation. Jackson Hawes there, heads up play from both. Bills driving. Couple plays later, it's 2nd and 13. This is a bit more traditional. He's got time, and there's the hand cannon delivering to Dalton Kincaid, who had a big gain and a big game inside the 10. Now it is Ty Johnson.
I like turtles.
Into the end zone and into the crowd. It's 14-10. Let's go Buffalo. After forcing a turnover on downs, the other tight end, it's Dawson Knox inside the 5. Couple of plays later from the 1. Allen is a big man, and initially they weren't sure, and then they took a look, replay assist, and just got to get the ball across the line, and there you go. 21-10. Final minute of the first half. Certainly Buffalo knows that this guy and this team don't need a ton of time, but this was, I thought, a huge sequence. After Hollywood Brown almost gets in, down at the 1, they're out of timeouts at this point, which means they can't run it. And as Mahomes looks for Kelsey, incomplete. Instead of what would have been a significant touchdown, they only get 3. And it's 21-13 at the break. Kelsey takes a big shot and says, I'm good. I signed up for 60. 8-point lead for the Bills. It's Allen, who is 23 of 26 on the day. Remarkably clean effort from him. That's Elijah Moore. And once again, it's Allen, who passes Earl Campbell all time for rushing touchdowns, which is incredible. Early fourth, the Chiefs going for it on 4th and 17. Mahomes running backwards, has time, and how is Rashee Rice, their most dangerous receiver, this wide open? A gain of 29, that's the longest 4th down conversion of his career. And now on 4th and 1, they hand it off to Kareem Hunt. No Pacheco in this game, but Hunt, who's been the guy around the goal line all season long, gets it. They go for 2 early, and they get it. There's Travis Kelce, and it's a 7-point game. After the Bills are forced to punt, Mahomes on 3rd and 10. This is the first game of his entire career held under 50% passing. Maxwell Hairston picked off as they got pressure off his back foot. So off the turnover, now late, we're only going to show you this one James Cook run. He actually had over 100 in the game. Do you elect to punt it and try to pin them? No, they elect to go for a field goal from 52, and Matt Prater stoink off the upright. Bills fans, are you kidding me? Coach McDermott, same reaction, because again, they know better than anyone. 22 seconds is way too much time for this guy. Great play design here. Xavier Worthy, they pick up 18 on one play, which means they've got some chances. After 2 incompletions, 3 seconds on the clock, Mahomes being chased, he's backpedaling, and this is going to fall short. Knock it down. That's what the Bills do. They get a hard-fought victory. The reigning MVP in the league, and victorious today against Kansas City. His team, Buffalo, a 28-21 win. Josh, welcome back. Thanks for taking a minute. I've been in that building, and man, it's special. And when it's 4th down or 3rd down, whatever the hell down it was, and there's one play left and it's Mahomes from the 40, I'm just wondering what kind of gear they've got in a moment like that when you really need them.
Yeah, it was awesome to hear our crowd get as loud as they could. Really appreciate our defense's effort there at the end of the game. Obviously, we know how great Pat is, and anytime he's got the chance to win the game with the ball in his hands, you always feel like he's going to take advantage of that and make it happen. But really proud of how our defense finished the game there.
Yeah, I thought they were great all game long. They bothered him, and that's a guy that you just can't, even when he's bothered, he's great, much like you, but they held him under 50% completion-wise just from what you saw, and I realize you've got to prepare for your job, but what did your defense do best today, do you think, Josh?
I think our D-line did a great job of just getting pressure and not allowing him to get out and make plays with his feet, especially running the ball and scrambling. I thought he made some unbelievable throws. I mean, backing up 3rd and long, obviously that 4th and long completion percentage is taking the win out of ourselves there. But that's the type of player that he is. And again, you always got to be ready for playing this team.
Josh, when we follow an NBA game and I'll see a guy on the podium looking at his stat sheet, I'm always curious if there are numbers on there that tell him something that we might not get. Your numbers jump off the page, 23 of 26. Cook goes for over 100 against a defense that doesn't do that a lot. Were there things that you guys did particularly well today that you feel like if I knew we're going to do that, we're beating this team. We're beating any team if we do this.
Yeah, finding completions. I don't know about our 3rd down percentage, but I feel like it was pretty good tonight. That's a tough defense. You know, they scheme very well on 3rd down. Spags is one of the best in the business. And again, like you said, the 100-yard rusher. Anytime you can do that and complete it at a high rate, typically you're going to have success.
I don't know if you know the name Earl Campbell. It was a while ago, but he was a running back in the day, one of the most bruising running backs ever, Houston Oilers. You could look it up online. You'd be like, wow, you passed him in rushing touchdowns today, Josh. I don't know if that's someone you're familiar with, but if so, does that name mean anything to you, Earl Campbell, that you got more than him?
Yeah. I mean, one of the all-time greats. To be mentioned with some of these guys, it's pretty surreal to me still, but you know, couple 1-yarders. I had some help. Again, that's my job though. Just go find a way to score touchdowns, and you know, we're going to be happy every time we get in the end zone.
Understood. Let me close with this. I mentioned your crowd, and I mentioned having been there. I really, really love what the Mafia is about, and you're going to have a new place for them next year. But will there be part of you, Josh, that'll miss the magic that is the building that's right behind you over your shoulder?
Yeah, I mean, I think. When you talk about this place, the history that it holds, the memories that it has, the type of players that have played in this building, I mean, it's pretty special to be a part of it. Looking forward to getting on grass next year, though. That's a sweet bonus.
I bet it is, and it'd be no better way to go out than to give those folks what they've been waiting for forever. That's way down the road. Be well until our paths cross again. Josh, thanks for throwing on the headset and visiting after a thrilling victory today, man. Thanks.
We've had great moments. We've had bad moments. We got to be more consistent as a team. I got to be more consistent at quarterback, and we got to be able to battle. I mean, we've kind of been in a lot of these tight, close games in our history, but they're not going our way now. So how can we deal with that adversity? How can we be better and learn from it? I mean, you can only learn from so many losses. I mean, you gotta learn from it fast, and it's gonna be an uphill battle when we get back. But I think our guys are up to it.
Just past 11:30 Eastern. We came on a little bit early. It's a Sunday, which means Tim Hasselbeck is here with me in studio. And, Tim, I made the point throughout the week that this game for Buffalo and Kansas City is great for us, sure. And Buffalo's beat them a bunch in the regular season, but we all know, got to beat them in the playoffs. But this Kansas City team right now, I think they're a playoff team, and they don't start tomorrow, so it doesn't matter. But at the moment, the path and where they would find themselves based on what they currently have done, which is a 5-4 ledger. What do you just make of what is ahead of this Chiefs team?
Well, they're in a place that they're not used to being in, and most likely will be.
Let me move these leaves.
I mean, it is fall. We did have Halloween. I know it's a big trick-or-treating night.
Just a little bit disarming to have the leaves. Go ahead.
So
sorry.
The reality is like they're used to having a bye.
Yep.
They're used to having games at Arrowhead. Everyone knows how good Andy Reid is off of a week off, all of those things. So your path when you get into the postseason. So as you say, yeah, look, if you're the Bills and it's like, okay, yeah, but you know, when we get it, can we beat them in the postseason? Well, what if their path is playing on Wild Card Weekend on the road? Like that is a completely different experience for Kansas City. And when you look at, as you said, the rest of what the AFC West looks like currently, what the rest of the AFC looks like, period, it's kind of hard at the moment to not think it's more likely than not that they're a wild card team.
Right. I mean, after a bye, and they can use it. I know I talked to Travis after the Monday night one against Washington. He said they were banged up going into this. And so like, you don't get the bye until week 10. Everybody's got some bumps and bruises. Then you go to a Denver team that's currently leading the West. We'll get to their highlight in a bit. So it's just an interesting path that's unusual for them because we haven't seen them have to travel that. As for Buffalo, They lost a couple, right? Went into a bye. They lost at home to New England, then they lost on Monday night to Atlanta. Come out of the bye, and it was like, oh, yeah, if we hand the ball to number 4, it might be helpful. He wasn't featured in the highlight a bunch other than that one late run, but he goes over 100 against a Chiefs team that doesn't do that much. How much does he help sort of set them up?
It's a huge deal, and Sean McDermott's been kind of begging for it for years, and Joe Brady's done a better job of calling runs. 27 carries. I think that's an important part of it.
It's a commitment to it.
Absolutely it is. Look, it's just, and it's a commitment to it, and it's important because the receivers are buying in and being a part of it. Basically a duo or inside run play, and what happens here is this thing ends up bouncing. But look at the receivers. This is in the first quarter, and it's a 17-yard run. Well, in the fourth quarter, it's the same exact run, same formation, flipped over. And again, it's a commitment by the receivers to be blocking on the perimeter, and it leads to big runs. And this is a basic run, a base run that a lot of teams run. But, and familiar to the Bills. But this is a little bit new to them. This is kind of a split zone with a wrap blocker. This is stuff you normally see the Niners do. And they're doing a good job kind of having wrinkles and creativity in their run game, which gets cooked to the next level. And so I think that when you look at their team, and in your interview with Josh, he's like, it's my job to find completions. He's going to find completions. But if you can make it easier on him by having balance and running the football, then, yeah, it's not crazy that he'll go 23 of 26. He'll find a lot of completions if you have balance.
There is still didn't have it necessarily on our list of possibilities for the year, but New England does have that win in their pocket. Yep. That they got over Buffalo, and it becomes a very, very intriguing storyline in the AFC East. But Buffalo gets this win, as we talked about, against the Kansas City team. Important there, but also important to keep tabs with New England. We'll get to New England in just a bit here on the show. The Sunday Nighter, not too far from where we are. It was going to be a loss for Washington no matter what, and it ends with just an awful scene. Jaden Daniels in an air cast on his elbow. We're not showing you the replay. If you want to go on the internet and see his arm bend the wrong way, have at it. But you see Zach Ertz really emotional, and they're getting housed, and we're going to show you the good part of the night as it relates to the game, is what I'm trying to say. I'm shaking, not joking. I mean, this is a bummer, man. Seattle was great. We'll get to that. And when that drive starts, I'm looking at you, and we're watching upstairs, and I said, why is he in this game? And he goes down, and now he's lost for potentially the year. What do you make of him being in there in a game that they're clearly not winning? Yeah, a lot of people say it after the fact. You said it before it happened. It was 38-7, and he's coming off of an injury. What I make of him being in the game is that guys that are wired the way franchise quarterbacks are wired, which he is, they're competitors. They want to be in there. And sometimes they just need to be saved from themselves, from the standpoint of, look, it just wasn't our night. Sam Darnold was on fire. Defense wasn't stopping anybody. Look, the game has gotten out of control. You're coming off of an injury. We just got to fight another day. Look, that's got to come it's not going to come from the quarterback to say, you know what, it's not me. It's got to come from someone other than Jaden Daniels. Look, and it's hard, and you see it throughout the league. It happens a lot throughout the league. Doesn't matter who it is. But look, if you're saying it, there are other people thinking it. There are players on the sideline thinking it. There are coaches thinking of it. It just takes someone to say, look, we're not throwing in the towel, but we're also being smart about how we're handling our franchise quarterback. And I appreciate the fine line of being competitive. And you're proud, and you only get 17 opportunities to try to play. And I appreciate Daniels wanting to play. And all of that is noble and fine. Yeah. But well, at some point here,
can on this too? Part of it is this: is that you can't take out all 11 starters on both sides of the ball. You're not dressing that many guys, and so the look of, hey, this guy is more important than everybody else is a bad look. While probably true, it's just it's not a good feel to say, hey, we're taking you out, but Debo, we're okay with guys rolling up on your legs as you're blocking. That is the balance. That is, the rub point of saying, hey, we're going to take our franchise quarterback out of a football game that's probably out of contention.
Ball is knocked out, and Cincinnati would challenge because they thought the ball perhaps went through the end zone, out of the end zone, touchback. After the review, they realized it's actually a touchdown. So now it's a 2-touchdown lead, about to be 3. Flacco looking for Chase Brown. Tremaine Edmonds jumps it. He's up with it. And look at Flacco. The 40-year-old puts his head down. He's huffing. I'm going to get there. I'm going to get there. They're not going to get there. But as they see right there, that hand on the shoulder pad, that means down by contact. Bears punt. So that was a gigantic play. No one knew it at the time. But here comes Flacco. Flacco to Noah Fant to Flacco's shoe. Now it's Flacco to Higgins. You go for 2. This is the new math. We understand why. We didn't used to, but now we do. So it's a 6-point game. But cool, it doesn't matter unless you get the onside kick. That never works. It works! It's off of Oren Burks, the Evan McPherson squib. It hits the foot, and Cincinnati, actually it hits, Oren Burks recovered it, I beg your pardon, it was off of Daniel Hardy. So now Cincinnati has hope, but they need everything to go right. That's fine. They have Flacco. They're those mitts of Higgins. He's down and in pain, but he secured the ball. A few plays later, 2nd and goal. Flacco, Andre Yusufash, all alone in the end zone. Heavens to Betsy. The Bengals have the lead. 35 seconds. The Bears have 1 timeout. Can they get in field goal range? Williams buying time, using his wheels. And now you've got to call the timeout. So the very next play, now you got to have a clean operation. Oh, they're in field goal range. Colston Loveland. We're kicking an extra point. Actually, they would go for 2. There goes Loveland. No one's missed more tackles than Cincinnati. And here, a couple of guys have shots. We go with a shoulder and a miss, and incredibly, 2 weeks in a row, they missed tackles. 2 weeks in a row, they score more than 38 and lose. That just doesn't happen, but it happens to Cincinnati because Flacco, here he's trying to load it up and really can't get everything behind it because he's got enough arm to get it there, but it falls short. The Bears remarkably get the victory. Ben Johnson, their head coach, on fire.
Hell yeah! Oh, no, I found it. 5 right there! 5 wins, man! Halfway point, 5-3, and I know it wasn't pretty. But don't apologize for a win in this league, guys. Don't apologize. We did what we had to do. Good, better, bad! Good, better, bad! Never let it rest! Never let it rest! Good gets better! Good gets better! Any better gets better! Any better gets better! Bears on 3, 1, 2, 3, Bears!
I was mentioning it over the highlight. It's just some people are visual learners, so here you go. After scoring 38 in a loss against the Jets last week, the Bengals hang 42 in the loss to the Bears, joining the 1966 Giants, the only teams in the history of the league to score 80 over a 2-game span and lose them both. Afterwards, Chase Brown did not mince words in calling out the guys on the other side of the ball, the Bengals defense.
We just got to play complementary football. Like, we put the ball in the end zone and go up a point at the end, finish the game. Like, just end it. Like, that's it. Like, that's what we need to do. Just end the game. Like, make them get us the ball back. Let us go to 22 victory and let's end the game. That's how I feel.
It's not fun when you're losing.
At some point, as a leader or any of the leaders on the offense, is it good to get on the defense or stay in your lane?
I'm gonna stay in my lane. I don't want no defensive player come and chew me out about what the I'm doing.
Well, I think of my man Russillo, who on radio will say, all right, we'll talk about this. And he'd say, well, what's the topic? And so after a game like this, honestly, I mean, what's the topic? And I suppose the topic that starts this is that Bengal defense historically. You've got a 40-year-old that's hanging damn near 542, and it's not enough. How do you frame what we're watching on this Cincinnati defense?
Well, I mean, they made coordinator changes in the past couple of years. They've, invested heavily in offensive players the past few years, and they've got their best defensive player who was unhappy in the offseason. Like, it just feels like a mess. And I think I felt that way kind of coming into the season. hearing the sound now, that's as bad as it gets, to be honest, Scott. Like publicly just saying, like, hey, we're doing our job. To your point, Flacco goes for 470 or whatever it was. Like, that's just bad. You got to show up to work the next day and see all those guys. Like, it's just, they've got a mess on their hands that Taylor's got to figure out.
Yeah, and you hear with the trade deadline coming that Hendrickson, who they sorted out, but it's kind of one of those fake sort outs, right? There's the ability to move him, and you wonder if perhaps they will, and you just punt on this. On the other side of the Chicago, they don't just win, they win in remarkable fashion, the kind of victory that almost, I think, mentally counts for more than one, because their quarterback makes a great scramble play and then a throw and an incredible run from their rookie tight end, Loveland. What do you make of the Bears? And we're going to get to the North in totality, but just the way that Williams played in this game throughout.
Well, I think he played well pretty much all throughout, which
Correct.
was, I think, look, some of it probably is that Bengals defense, but some of it is also you're trying to figure out, is he the guy of the future? Are we building around him? Ben Johnson comes in. What is it going to look like? I thought today was a good example of, you saw him playing on time in the structure of their offense, and then you also saw him create. The marriage of those two things is what would make him a guy that is dangerous every single week.
And you look at this season thus far for him, and really good against Dallas, whose defense has been awful. Really good against Cincinnati, whose defense has been awful. But in a league where you don't get a lot of windows, you better be great in those windows, and he has been.
Yes, and then I think outside of just the performance of it, what does he look like as a leader in that offense, and what does he look like operating how Ben Johnson probably wants him to operate?
Yep.
And that, I would say, in both of those areas, it's been an improvement over what we had seen prior to this season.